everyone. Good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat right here on ET Now, the second edition. I'm Mubina Kapasi. Markets have certainly tempered off quite a bit. In fact, tempered would be a less extreme name to put it. Nifty is down 82 points now. So on an intraday basis, the volatility has been of approximately 140 points. And the Sensex, in fact, as we speak, is just about ebbing below 39,100, with the broader market seeing cuts to the extent of 1% in trade. But let's run you through then the top movers and shakers in trade. For that, we have with us Soumya Sharma, ET Now's research analyst. And today on the technicals, we're going to be joined by Manav Chopra of Indiabulls Ventures, as well as Vikas Jain of Reliance Securities. So thanks to all of you for joining in. And let's start off first with the top Nifty loser. That's also, I think, a key culprit for the markets going down. BPCL. The fourth quarter numbers were released, and clearly the streets is not taking it too kindly. Nomura, for one, has maintained a neutral stance with the target at 360 rupees. Yes, they are pleased with what that company has done on the marketing margins bit. But as usual, it's the refining margins that has disappointed. In fact, they're saying the outlook as well does not look good, because demand is something that's not looking too optimistic and supply is increasing. So the outlook for refining does not look good. Hence, they have a neutral stance and the stock price is down 5%. Soumya, let's go across to you. Tata Motors as well. Again, result reaction and one of the big Nifty losers.
Well, yes, the revenues for the company reported in Q4 were down by over 3.9%, impacted by liquidity stress. But at the same time, they came in pretty much in line with our expectations. However, PAT was down by 49%, and these were actually higher than what we had estimated. Margins also came in below at 9.8%. As far as guidance is concerned, the management said that they see tepid demand in Indian CV market over next 3 to 6 months. And as far as JLR is concerned, they've added that JLR free cash flows will be negative over FY 20 and 21, and they've targeting an EBIT margin of approximately 3 to 4% of range in 2021. Apart from this, they added that things should start improving from FY 21, with JLR guiding for positive free cash flows by then. In fact, most of the brokerages have a mixed review when it comes to Tata Motors. Stock down by over 6.4% on back of these weak results and muted guidance.
All right. Okay. Moving on to the next stock that we are watching out for, and that is RIL, Reliance Industries. A bounce is what we are witnessing today after being lower for the most part of the last 10 to 15 trading sessions. Because your recommendation here?
Support from its 100-day average, and we believe the stock will head further ahead. So we remain positive on the stock. The stock can head further higher. So
we need to click. Just to reiterate for our viewers, since Vikas's audio wasn't very clear, he does remain positive. In fact, he's watching out for a 1385 to 1400 rupee target on the upside for this one. Continuing with the countdown then, Manav, today FMCG is a bit of a mixed bag, but Britannia really is standing out. What exactly is it that you're witnessing here?
See, the prices after series of decline has bounced from its oversold levels, and the overall stock has been in a good uptrend, but since it's bouncing from its support levels and has seen a short-term reversal on the intraday charts, we expect this momentum to continue on the upside, and the upside target is close to 3000, and one can definitely maintain a buy on dips approach with a bullish stance.
That's a recommendation coming in then on Britannia. Yes, rebounding from oversold levels. Today, the metal index is a big loser in trade, and I guess partly you could attribute it to the information, the news coming in from Brazil. A Brazilian court has allowed Norsk Hydro to resume production at Alunorte Alumina facility. It's a Brazilian court, not a US court. Now, why is this important? Well, because since the spill that had taken place in 2018, the company was forced to operate essentially at 50% capacity. But now the Brazilian court has given it the nod to go ahead and operate at how much ever capacity it can, and this is something that will once again flood the alumina market. So hence you are seeing some reaction combined LME aluminium prices and concomitantly Hindalco and Nalco as well. Well, let's continue with the countdown then, and Vikas, just dial, what a bounce seen in this one, 715 rupees, and it's after very long that we're seeing so much of positive traction on this stock.
Yeah, look at the structure has been pretty positive. We have seen a sharp breakout above its 200 week average and consistent upmove. we believe the stock would remain positive, but at the current levels, risk reward ratio is not favorable, so we should put some profits and wait for some decline to end.
Is the view on Just Dial. Quite a good momentum seen over there. Soumya, numbers for United Breweries not that great, but stock still resilient.
Well, yes, if talking about particularly about the Q4 numbers, they weren't great. Even though the revenue saw a growth of over 10.7%, the PAT remained down by over 25.3% in Q4, impacted by intense competition and the entire election environment. Even on the EBITDA front, it was down by over 17.7%. Margins also contracted from 14 to 10.5%. In fact, the company today in the interaction to ET Now said that elections are usually not a good time for this company. Whole host of rules and that follow up with respect to production and dispatches, and that's what's keeping the stock. It should be actually it's a negative thing for the stock, but still it's gaining by over 4.7%.
Alright, well, moving on to the next stock, Manav, Indigo Aviation. You know, ET Now had, of course, broken that exclusive story that there may be a bit of a tiff between the two promoters, and the stock has been on a downward spiral. Today, it's attempting a bounce. What do you make of this 1.8% uptick?
See, the prices have tested its daily support zone, and if you've seen the stock since past couple of months, it has been in a very good uptrend. So since it's trading near its support zone, it is also providing a good risk reward for a fresh long positions at the current levels. The overall momentum it looks positive. I sense on the upside 1500 is an important resistance. Once that is breached, we can expect the levels of 1550 to be achieved. So at the current levels, the stock is looking well poised for an upside momentum.
Okay, that's the view on Interglobe Aviation or Indigo. Bharat Forge, meantime, you know, just like Tata Motors, this one too has had its management giving out weak commentary, and this is something that certainly is spooking the street. So after gaining yesterday post the numbers, today we are seeing red on the screen. In fact, it's 3.5% gone. Namura says that yes, it has been a steady fourth quarter, but the company seems to be entering a phase of slow growth, so that's what's perturbing them. Kotak, however, has an outright sell stance over here with a target at 460 rupees. Vikas, we are seeing some traction come by in these smaller banks like a City Union Bank and LVB. So what's your recommendation and your observations on Lakshmi Vilas Bank, which by the way is in fact locked in upper circuit?
But if you look at this stock has seen good amount of accumulation, and with the recent news flow of the merger between Indiabulls, the stock it can test its 200-day average on the higher side and 84-85 levels. So we remain positive. We believe crossover of 85 would be a further up. 85 would be the first potential target.
Okay, so that's the recommendation coming in on LVB. Continue holding on to the stock. Soumya, Lakshmi Machine Works, a stock we don't talk about very often, but today a result reaction, see how were the numbers?
Well, they were pretty much bad when it comes to the Q4 earnings. They were disappointing on all fronts. Revenue was down by 22%. PAT was also down by 3.7%. Well, this was there was a marginal exceptional loss reported in this quarter. Even on EBITDA front, we saw it down by over 52%. Margins contracting from 9% to 5.6%. In fact, on the all fronts, the company reported weak numbers. In fact, the board has also approved setting up of wholly owned subsidiaries in Singapore and Dubai. But I think what's keeping the stock down by 3.4% today is the weak numbers that the street is particularly not liking.
Okay, well, yes, it's down 3.9%. Today, Manav, we are seeing some excitement come by in these cement stocks. Jkcement certainly has seen a neat uptick come by. It's almost 5% higher. Your view here?
Yes, in fact the stock has been in a very good uptrend, and recently the prices have also managed to exceed its recent swing high and is currently trading above it. Most importantly, the last few volumes in that we've witnessed into the stock is quite good, and which is indicating that the momentum is still with the stock on the upside, and the oscillators are in the buy mode. We expect this momentum to continue, and the upside target for this stock could be around the levels of 1050.
Alright, so yes, Manav is quite bullish on the stock and does expect Jkcement to go higher from here on as well. Continuing with the countdown then, and Thyrocare, it's a very interesting news piece that has come in. In fact, the company has just in an exchange notification said that the auditor has recommended impairment of a subsidiary, Nuclear Health's Healthcare, wherein Thyroke has a stake in the company and they have recommended impairment because of the performance. But the MD and CEO, Dr. Velumani, has actually offered to buy the entire stake held by the company in this unit at the market value of 194.7 crores. There was an immediate spike which we saw in the stock price of Thyroke, but subsequently it has cooled off, but still higher by about 0.5%. Interesting news piece over there. Soumya, Torrent Pharma, how are the numbers?
Well, they were miss on when it comes to earnings. For consolidated net sales, where although were up by 72.2%, it did not really reflect in the bottom line, which saw a loss of over 152 crore rupees versus a profit of 228 crore rupees in the last year. Well, the company saw an exceptional item, and adjusting for that also, even though the profits were still down by 7% on the margins front, slight improvement coming in from 21.3% to 25.5%. Talking about the sales in India, they were down by 5%, and these US sales were also down by 8% and were actually below our expectation and the street expectations, and that's what's keeping the stock down by over 4.8% today in trade due to the negative results that the company reported.
Okay, 4.8% gone. Aarti Industries, meantime, yes, it is a result candidate. We are in fact waiting by not just for the fourth quarter numbers, but also for the bonus. Yes, the management earlier had said that they are going to consider a bonus issue in the board meet today. So apart from the numbers, one is going to keep a close eye on what exactly does it do when it comes to bonus. Let's watch out for that. Ahead of that, the stock price is going higher. Quick break right here on the show. Come right back. We'll continue flagging off the movers and shakers today in trade. This is Market Fatafat. Welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat right here on ET. Now let's continue the countdown of the big movers and shakers. Bank of Baroda is extending that uptick that it has been seeing for the last couple of trading sessions. In today's trading session as well, it's higher by 1.3%. Yes, there's a dip from the day's high, but nevertheless still in the green. And this is the fourth straight day that we are seeing a rally come by in this PSB. In fact, it's certainly been doing very well despite whatever's been happening in the PSU banking index. And with this level of 125 rupees, the stock is in fact perched at the highest since the 30th of April. Keeping it with the banking names, Vikas, IndusInd Bank had almost snapped its multiple day losing streak. There was a bounce yesterday, but today once again it's in the red. So what would you make of the momentum we've seen here?
Well, today's decline can be only ruled out because yesterday the stock had moved a sharp 8% more. The stock has multi-month support levels that we were thinking that could come and bounce back, so it should hold on. So today's profit booking can be ruled out. So we believe the stock can have further higher into those 1535 levels. So one should continue to hold and maintain buy.
Okay, so hold on to IndusInd Bank is what Vikas is recommending. Soumya, HPCL, another OMC that has come out with its numbers. What were the numbers like?
Well, talking about HPCL, the revenues were up by 10%. The PAT saw a surge of over 58.4%. In fact, brokerages on this results normalized, saying that they delivered strong results driven by high realized marketing margins, but refining earnings were weaker, but marketing earnings were significantly strong. They're maintaining a neutral stance at the target price of 260 per share, and they say that marketing margins would decline in Q1 of FY20. Similarly, CLSA is maintaining a sell stance with a target price of 210 per share. They say that Asian GRMs may continue to remain depressed, and I think the earnings combined with all these brokerages is what's keeping the stock down today in trade.
Okay, HPCL 2.6% down, though it has managed a bit of a recovery from the day's low. Manav Chopra, off late we've been seeing some buying coming in over here. What would you make of the move seen? It's a nice 5% uptick in today's trading session as well.
Yes, in fact, the prices have seen a breakout on the daily charts, and most importantly, the short-term trend has turned bullish. If you're looking at the volumes in last couple of trading session, it is above its 20-day average volumes and has bounced also from its important weekly support. So everything is turning quite positive at the current levels, and we expect this move to see a good range move in the near term, and it's likely to test the levels of 550 on the upside. So I recommend a buy on dips approach. The important support for this stock would be around the levels of 490 to 500.
All right, that's Sobha Limited 5% higher in trade. Result reaction seen in Philips Carbon. Yes, on the top line front, it's done pretty okay, especially given the fact that auto and its related components have struggled a bit in this quarter. Still, a 22% rise for Philips Carbon. Just a reminder for our viewers, it essentially supplies the raw material for tires, among many other things. So 921 crores in the revenue, but I think the problematic figure has been the profitability, because that's been absolutely flat at just 74 crore rupees, and I think the margins as well are to be blamed over here. So Philips Carbon is down 6.8%. Soumya, what's the news when it comes to these NBFCs? Because for now we are seeing a word of caution coming in from many participants whom we've been speaking to.
Well, yes, some respite and relief coming in for the NBFCs and entire banking space. In fact, RBI is likely to consider a special borrowing window, particularly for the NBFCs, and will begin with the consultations on draft guidelines once the election outcomes are done with. In fact, this liquidity injection and this providing would not be through a direct method, and this liquidity will be offered to the NBFCs via banks. In fact, RBI is already reaching out to banks and NBFCs to find the best possible solution to mitigate this fund crunch and giving a solution to this problem. So the NBFCs particularly are gaining on back of this news flow, and it's a positive news flow as far as NBFCs are concerned.
That it is. Thanks a lot, Soumya. For that, DHFL 1.6% higher. Another stock that has been seeing some neat upticks today is Bandhan Bank, and this has again been the case for some time. However, today on an intraday basis, we've seen the stock slip, and how in fact it's at the day's low, completely giving up the gains. So Manav, what would you recommend here?
See, at the current levels, the momentum has turned positive, after the breakout that we saw yesterday, and the prices are retracing on the intraday, but it is providing an important cushion on the lower side, which is at 580. So I suggest the stock would definitely be a buy and dips approach, and after a good weeks of move, the stock has given a positive crossover on the daily charts. I expect the stock to see an upside rally and probably test its recent swing high, which gives us an upside target of 635. The important support for the stock is placed at 580 on the lower side.
Okay, that's Bandhan Bank 591 currently on the charts. Vikas today, PFC, and many of these companies that were seeing an uptick yesterday are showing a reversal on the chart. Your view here for a PFC?
It's a complete reversal on the charts. The stock failed to cross the resistance level of 118 and 1020 on the higher side, and we believe the stock could face further pressure. It can decline near to 105, 107 levels, which is the support area. One should maintain our negative bias on the stock.
Okay, so that's the view on PFC, 4.5% gone. Soumya, the news flow for Jet Airways continues. What's the latest?
Well, this is what we're gathering from Economic Times reports, that Indiabulls is getting backing of Etihad and Naresh Goyal to get on board of Jet Airways, and Indiabulls Group has engaged with the investment bankers led by particularly SBI Capital Markets for due diligence process. In fact, the entire street is awaiting as to what this turns out to be and who takes charge of the troubled aviation company.
Well, that it certainly is, and there's another name being added to the mix at this point of time. So the future of Jet Airways, of course, is at this point of time in many, many hands, undoubtedly. Continuing with the countdown then, and Astral Poly has delivered its fourth quarter numbers, and the street certainly is not pleased with what it is seeing. Revenues, okay, an uptick of 21%, but I suppose the higher input costs have got to them, along with what exactly PVC prices have done in the fourth quarter. So we have seen a margin compression to the tune of almost about 320 basis points from the corresponding quarter, and the profit figure as well has dipped by a little over 4%. Like I said, top line growth is okay, but the margin and the profitability performance is what has disappointed the street, and you are seeing a 7% fall over there. Soumya, HEG, what's the news over here?
Well, the company came out with its earnings yesterday post market hours. The revenue was up by over 4.2% to nearly 1,347 crore rupees. Well, the problem comes at the bottom line, which saw a degrowth of over 17.3%, and this is what's particularly keeping the stock to be lower by 4.6%, since it did not reflect well when it comes to the profitability.
All right. On that note, we're out of time in this edition of Market Fatafat. So Manav as well as Vikas, thank you for joining in with your technical strategies. Soumya, to you as well. Coming up next to take the market action forward is closing trades.